Hello, Mr. Holloman and the class I would have been presenting to. I am Ali, or Alexander Strickland, and this is my Native American project. Well, I did my Native American project on the Cherokee people. So, the Cherokee themselves called themselves the Anayanmia, or as translated in American, the principal people. Now, it's rumored that they came down from the north out of the Cherokee tribe around 1450. Now, in their culture, though, they believe that the earth was started as an island that floated in the middle of nowhere, and a water bug and a buzzard came together and formed it into what it is today, and that their homeland, which is South Carolina, was the center of this world. They believe the first Cherokee man and woman were Kanati and Selu, and they kind of based their roles off of these two people. It was Selu's role to provide vegetation, which is what the women did. They watched over the crops while the men were gone and stuff like that. So they watered the crops and things of that nature. Now, the most important crop was corn, but they had other crops like beans and squash and whatnot. Well, besides just watching the crops, the women had to do a lot of other stuff. They had to watch the kids, and they had to furnish the homes and bring firewood and water to the villages. Now, the village itself held about 30 to 60 longhouses and one council home, which was for making decisions, when the village would come together. But in each home was like a clan, and the clans were dictated off the mother, because like I said, females were very important in the Cherokee nation, and their nation was matrilineal. So they had a matrilineal kinship, which meant that the relations in each family was based off of the woman. So a man would come live with the woman, and the children would be raised with her family. And in that situation, the children's uncle would be the most important man in their life. But nevertheless, men of the Cherokee nation, they would go out in hunting parties and go find game for the village. Of course, they would only hunt as much as they needed, because the Cherokee didn't believe in waste. In fact, one very important thing in their life was balance, because that was part of their religion. They believed that the world had to be balanced or disasters would occur. So they kind of felt the same way about war. War to them was to restore balance. So say if they lost 20 men of the Cherokee tribe from another tribe, they had to go to the other tribe and kill or capture 20 men or people to restore balance to the world, and they felt it was their job to protect the earth. Now, they didn't have their first contact with the Europeans until about 1540 with De Soto. Of course, De Soto came looking for gold. They didn't have any, so he abused them like most conquistadors did. But he left eventually because he didn't find what he wanted, but he left diseases, of course, which kind of killed the population. But luckily, because the Cherokee people were so inward or inland compared to other native tribes, they were able to rebuild their population. So they didn't have any more major contact until about the 18th century, when traders started to come. And the traders built on their land. They built stores and homes. They started to intermarry with the Cherokee, which brought problems, because one, the Cherokee started to be in debt of the traders. So the Cherokee had to go out and kill more and capture more to give to the traders, which threw off their whole thought of equilibrium and balance. And also, the children of the traders and the Cherokee women would actually take on the father's thoughts now and the father's beliefs, which was again against the Cherokee religion. Well, besides trading with the Europeans, the Cherokee also fought with them. So in the first war that they fought in was the French and Indian War, and they fought for the British. And at first they fought for the British, but because of disagreements between the British and the Cherokee people, they ended up fighting against the British. And the British and the Cherokee had a lot of attacks against each other, massacres, until eventually things were settled because the British decided they wanted to keep alliance with the Cherokee. So the Cherokee lost a lot of people in that situation too. The only other wars that the Cherokee really fought in were the American Revolutionary War, which they fought for the British against the Americans, and the Civil War, which they fought for the Confederacy. Now, after the Confederacy, their land, they got divided, and they got moved because, they weren't losing side. So they were dispersed around, and they were trying to get themselves back together. But in 1830, President Andrew Jackson signed the Indian Removal Act, which was supposed to move all Native Americans to Indian Territory. Now, the Cherokee had a problem with that, so they set up 2 lawsuits against the act itself, and Congress ruled in their favor. But Andrew Jackson, being the president, defied the Congress and went on with the act and moved thousands and hundreds of thousands of natives to the Indian Territory. But in the process, the journey itself, over 17,000 Indians were killed, 3,000 in one day alone to be killed due to the poor environment. So the name was actually turned to the Trail of Tears. Now, after the Trail of Tears, when the Cherokee settled in their area, so they started getting themselves together once again. And now, more recently, they have a lot of advances that have put them in front of other Native American tribes. In the 19th century, they actually had their first newspaper called the Cherokee Advocate, and they also got a written language. So they have an alphabet now, which is really great because they can now translate into American the Cherokee words, which is actually puts them far above other natives. They also have a working democratic government system. They have court systems, and they have a very respected school system now. So overall, the Cherokee are doing pretty great things. Well, thank you for your listening.